Hello, boys and girls. You are now listening to the greatest podcast in the universe and all other universes outside of the Milky Way. It is the Neu Daye Podcast, featuring myself, Peter, and
me, Nathan.
I was going to introduce you, bro. I could do this.
Oh, okay.
I got this. And on the other side of the Skype universe, we have Eyes on the Ring very own Nathan. What's your middle name, Nathan?
Grant
Newman. Yay! Correct. So I'm just getting off work, and
Yeah, I got off work about a half hour ago myself.
Really? That late? Why'd you text me to see when we're gonna start?
Just so I knew.
Oh.
Trying to plan ahead. Plus, my boss wasn't watching me at the time, so I could get away with it.
Oh, nice. No, we just finished up, like last week, I think we started, at my job, we started the National Folk Festival shirts, and we just finished them today.
Nice.
Yeah, like 3,000 shirts, man. It's just me and one other. Yeah. Some of them had front, some of them had backs. It's just, we finally wrapped that shit up today, got them all in boxes. Oh, my God. So, I mean, I'm not that tired. I mean, we did all right. But I'm just glad it's done. I'm so over that shit. We gotta the Folk Fest is going to be something awesome. There's a lot of great acts that are going to be taking part in that shit. I want to see Mavis Staples. Have you heard of her?
No, I haven't.
Okay, of the Staples Singers.
Okay.
Have you heard?
Yeah, I don't listen to current music, so
no. This is actually the Staples Singers are they're from like the Stax era. That's
weird.
The '60s. So
okay.
Their big hit was like "I'll Take You There."
Okay.
I know a place. Ain't nobody crying.
Yep.
Ain't nobody worried. Ain't no smiling faces. And Respect Yourself, which was like kind of redid sort of by Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. But dude, how you been? What's up?
I've been good. It's been kind of a weird week, or weekend, I should say. But other than that, I'm good.
You're breaking up a little bit, brother.
And that's about it. Now I got 2 days off, so between tomorrow and Wednesday.
Repeat what
Between tomorrow and Wednesday, I have 2 days off.
Yeah,
so.
Repeat what you just said because you were breaking up.
I just said it's been a weird few days, but now I've got the next few days off, so I'm happy about that.
All right, that's what's up. Let's go ahead and talk about fucking WWE, and we've already talked about Bummer Slam. I had time to go back, and I'm not as pissed at Bummer Slam as much as I was last week, but because they made it all up that Monday and that Thursday. Now, let's talk about returns and let's talk about debuts.
All right.
The first thing is the return of the Dudley Boys. Speak on it. I want to hear you.
I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with the Dudley Boys. I heard that they both signed multi-year deals with the company, and they will be full-time, and I am really looking forward to it because it's going to inject some much-needed life into the tag division.
Okay.
And I think that a Neu Daye Dudley Boys program feud is something that I'm definitely interested in. And I don't know if it's going to end up with the Dudleys getting a another title reign. I don't think it needs to, but if it goes there, then it goes there.
I think they could use a title reign. But here's
it would be either 19th.
Yeah, oh wow! But check this shit out, right? And this is what I was talking about with Jake. It's just that we talk about the youth movement and guys trying to come up. Example, say Neville losing to Chris Jericho, Tyler Breeze losing to Jushin Thunder Liger, and things of that nature. I would hate to be in a situation where I'm looking at the Dudley boys going over, say, Los Matadores, or say even, primetime players. And with this idea that, like, okay, these old guys aren't putting the young talent over,
Yeah.
Do you think is that something that you're thinking about as well? I mean, granted, the tag team division is pretty depleted, and it's not like anyone in position to say, well, why can't they beat the Dudley boys? I would put Kaz and Enzo in that situation maybe when they come up. It's like, oh, man, they don't need to go down to these guys. But at the same token, I'm like, well, I am pro older guy going over. I'm just that's just me, But Thursday they were on SmackDown, and it wasn't that great of a match. You could tell they have to adjust. They're going to have to readjust to the WWE style.
I don't see that at all. I think the guys that they are going to be wrestling are going to have to step up in order to keep up with them, because I think the TNA style is no different from the WWE style.
You think? You don't think it's just a little too much?
No, I don't. I think TNA is WWE light, and I think if you go from TNA to WWE, I don't think it's that big of a transition.
But what?
Because TNA is... They started as a company that was trying to be different, and now they're pretty much a carbon copy, and that's why nobody cares, and that's why I don't watch them anymore, because they're garbage.
How about what other promotions did they wrestle for? Because for the most part, they since they've been off the WWE and they got some TNA, but like they've been doing other indie stuff, right?
The most notable one would be with 2CW in New York.
Okay. What the hell? Okay, so check this out. So the New Day, and I know it is funny because I guess the panic button, and you look at a guy like Triple H, who's probably the person behind the Dudley Boys finally getting back on the WWE roster, right? I mean, I imagine Vince McMahon is like, nah, fuck these guys. He's like, no, dude, we need them, right?
Sure, I suppose.
So check this out. Say take what was I about to say? I was about to say something. Fuck, what was I about to say? I hate when I go blank. I got distracted by my phone right then, so I went blank. So what point was I about to make? Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Because we remember when Bubba Ray showed up in the Royal Rumble, and I just remember during like the dirt sheets or what have you, negotiations of the Dudley Boys actually being re-signed was something that was not likely, and the fact that Bubba showing up was a one-off, and that he wasn't actually going to sign. Did any time between then and now, do you know of any news of them making progress to get them on the roster, or is this one of the last great surprises of the WWE?
I thought it was a surprise because you had never heard anything of it. I don't read dirt sheets because they ruin my enjoyment of wrestling, so I just don't read them.
But you listen to different podcasts and whatnot. I mean,
I do, yeah, but they don't necessarily get hung up on what the dirt sheets are reporting.
Okay. Well, some take MLW. They have conversations on what, like, you know, Dave Meltzer will write about, or like the guys over at what's the other guy, Wrestling Observer, those guys, you know, because they're writing them, for crying out loud. And they, you know, they're in those conversations. I was wondering if you heard anything even remotely close to the Dudley Boys returning, because I mean, I would like to know if anyone knew.
Well, I for one didn't know, but after what happened at the Royal Rumble this past year, I assumed that Bubba would at least show up. But I didn't expect both Bubba and Devon,
I know, right,
to be there. So, but I'm happy for them because they're getting more money.
Yep.
And they're getting out of a shitty company.
Mm-hmm.
They got off the Titanic before it sank, and we'll see what they can do in the WWE. I'm glad that the money is there and that they'll get the money, but I'm just not sure what they're going to do with them creatively going forward, because it's like there's not, like, if you put the Dudleys on the roster and infuse them with what's going on in the tag division right now, there's not really a match where I'm saying, oh, I can't wait to see the Dudleys versus this team or the Dudleys versus this team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, normally, like, when something like this would happen, I would immediately start fantasy booking a little bit and just thinking, oh, I can't wait until we see this or we see this. But it's like...
And that's the problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's not much on the roster to even fantasy book.
Exactly, and I'm not a huge fan of fantasy booking, but it's like I can't help but think of these things where it's like I want to see the Dudleys take on this team or this team or this team, and it's not there.
As good as it gets in terms of like fantasy booking, you're not necessarily fantasy booking within the tag team division as much as you're fantasy booking with tandems, like Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Like, they're not in the tag team division, but they're a tandem. And, like, to see those guys versus those guys would be quite interesting, right? Or say even the Wyatts. You know, you look at that, you know, Wyatt family and them going back and forth with them. It's like, well, that looks pretty interesting, right? Hell, or say if Tyson Kidd and Cesaro was still a tag team, that would be interesting. But you're kind of left with just the New Day. And, like, not only the wrestling itself that would be entertaining between those two, because that is the destined feud right now, you know? It's not like, oh, yeah, we're going to put, like, Los Matadores up against the fucking Dudley Boys. Or we're going to put, like, Lucha Dragons, even though that may be entertaining. But, I mean, I guess a good wrestling match. But the way that the New Day are being booked, and just pure comedy and pure just, it's just on the floor, like stuff, you know, like hashtag, dudes holding up a sign that says hashtag give tables a chance, you know?
Yeah.
You know, just coming out with a trombone, just, and between them and, you know, the zaniness of the Dudley Boys, we got ourselves an entertainment. But at some point, it's going to have to come to an end. And then who else is going to be there for the Dudley Boys? Because honestly, the New Day are the heels. And they're so awesome that they were about to get cheered. You know, it's like, well, how do we equalize this? We bring back the Dudley Boys. Who the fuck is going to boo the Dudley Boys? And honestly, if the New Day are going to maintain that level of awesomeness moving forward, it's going to be hard to root against the New Day. I mean, I'm not going to root against the New Day, but say like the casual wrestler who's just looking at the pure entertainment factor of the New Day, it's like, I like these guys. Like,
yeah.
You know, like that's still going to be an obstacle because you're just not going to null and void these guys until like a heel role. How awesome they are until they really start get dastardly. Like,
yeah,
like just, you know, just being real dicks. They got to be like smacking women and shit, you know, like kicking babies and scaring kids in the fucking in the stands. But that it would be such a bad look to put them in that kind of booking.
Yeah, well, and it's like once the Dudleys are done with the New Day, it's like what's left for the New Day to accomplish.
Yeah.
as tag team champions, because we've already been here, and the tag team division, while it's getting really good, or it was really good for a while, is kind of to the point where it's falling off and getting really stagnant.
Again,
so
we got the Wyatts. We got, your boy Braun. Well, that's something we're going to talk about. The new Wyatt family, and you still have Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, depending on what they do with that tandem. But other than that, it's the Usos. The Usos versus the Dudley Boys. And that's
the Usos, one of them's injured, and the other one's doing terrible commentary on Superstars.
Well, he's on SmackDown too, and last Thursday, Jimmy was actually pretty funny.
I wouldn't watch I don't watch SmackDown, so who would ever know that? Because if it happens on SmackDown, it didn't really happen.
Shut up. You know what's funny? I actually brought that up in my last Peter Talk SmackDown, and I was like, I know Keita and I know Nathan are going to say, if it happens on SmackDown, then it doesn't happen, but fuck that.
Exactly, because we're smarter than you, damn it.
Smarter? Smarter my ass. Man, see, and I'm being real cool. This is 2 weeks straight where I'm just being real cool, you know that? And you're poking the bear, you know that? You're poking the bear. And the bear bites. And he bites hard. All right? So, chill out over there, Point Dexter. And but I think that's going to be the ultimate thing. I mean, I see a WrestleMania, if it's not like old Mania, which I'm thinking is shaping out to be. I really think they're not going to have any interest in putting anybody on the actual roster now, say outside of John Cena, maybe Randy Orton, on that WrestleMania Texas card.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else is going to fall by the wayside, and then you're going to do any and everything to bring back old, legends or people, The Rock, Brock, Undertaker, probably Batista, get Triple H in there, get Sting in there, and it's like, if you're Cesaro, you're fucked. Pretty
much. You're gonna have a pre-show battle royal, and that's about it.
Oh God, yeah, you're right.
Because I guarantee you they do that come WrestleMania 32, because they're going to be like, oh, we have all these legends who are on contracts for one night, and we're going to have them all wrestle, and then, oh, what do we do with our actual guys that actually are in the company who are employed by us every single day of the year, that bust their ass, and then these legends come in and work one night a year and then go away the next night on Raw.
And don't forget the performers. Don't forget, Flow Rider and PD.
Yeah. Floor Rider, did you say?
I said Flow Rider.
Oh, it sounded like you said Floor Rider.
He's about that.
Oh.
He's Floor Rider.
Did you hear one thing I wanted to ask you, and this is kind of off topic?
Before we move, I just wanted to say, if there's a tag team match during SummerSlam, during WrestleMania, then that could possibly be it. They would get 8 minutes. That would be the tag team. That would be the only. The Usos versus the Dudley Boys. That's I think.
Yeah, that's the only thing I really want to see.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's I really don't care to see the Dudley Boys wrestle anybody in the tag division, and it's no knock to them. It's just there's no competition in the tag division right now.
Yeah, outside the New Day is pretty bleak. But what were you about to say?
I was just going to ask you if you heard what happened just a couple hours ago outside of the WWE Performance Center.
Oh, I just saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, there was apparently a shooting.
Yeah, I saw that. That's wild.
Yeah, some guy was trespassed and not supposed to be there got on the property and was trying to stalk Dana Brooke, I guess.
No way.
The police came, and I guess they ended up shooting him.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Because apparently this dude who, got shot, has a history of, I guess, when I looked at, it was someone posted the SE Scoops headline, and in the comments below, and I don't ever wish anyone dead. I don't care who you are. I don't wish people dead. But one of the comments was like, I hope this guy dies. He actually online has been stalking her for a while or something like that, and being like, just an asshole online. And
he's on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I looked at his Twitter profile, and yeah, the guy's nuts. But there's a article that came out from Lords of Pain, and it says that Triple H posted the following, and it says, unfortunately, a deranged individual with no WWE affiliation who had a court order prohibiting him from being on WWE property was involved in an incident with an Orange County Sheriff's deputy in the parking lot of the WWE Performance Center. We defer to the Orange County Sheriff's Department for further comment and information. But apparently he was obsessed with Dana Brooke, which I know snide comments, I shouldn't make them, but if you're going to be obsessed with any WWE diva...
Don't do it, man. Hey, don't get fired, man.
Why does it have to be Dana Brooke?
Don't get fired. Hey, stop it. Stop it. You jerk.
What, you think she's attractive? Because I don't.
No, I mean, I just can't take it there. I obviously, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And I think any girl who's doing the damn thing is cute to me. I'm not particularly like fond of blondes, actually.
Well, her hair, it's not even blonde. It's like blondish green. Like, I don't know what's going on with it. And it looks like a 5-year-old did her makeup.
I mean, she has a great body. I mean, I don't know. She's hot. I guess she's hot.
She has the most annoying voice out of anybody I've ever heard in my life, though.
Hey, so did Fran Dresser, and she was a fucking, hot chick, too.
I suppose.
See?
But
I'm just saying, I look at situations like this, and you take the WWE, you take anything that the WWE does, they're public. It's like, other than say security, it's just wide open. You look at situations like, terrorist acts and things of that nature. For some reason, the wrestling world has been avoided. Has avoided that kind of craziness.
Yeah.
Bomb threats, stalkers. You think as bad as it ever gets is someone running into the ring, because they're like the supermark, they're all like fucking Jon Stewart and shit, right? But something to this magnitude, I hope this is just one isolated event, because it's not like, again, these wrestlers have a lot of protection, they don't.
Yeah.
They're in the public eye all the time, public spectrum. I mean, they're walking down with just trunks on. They don't have means to defend themselves if someone actually was to inflict like any harm beyond, say, fisticuffs or bare hands. They're susceptible to a lot of things. So if you talk about this guy to a level of fatal, this guy was what's one of these fatal. The cops had to kill him.
Yeah. This guy's name is Armando Alejandro Montoya, or Montallo, and
Montoya?
He apparently was obsessed with Lita, so he tried to go into the performance center to see if she was there. She wasn't there, and apparently as well, he tried to try out for Tough Enough the last season and was unsuccessful. And then I guess it all started and whatever. So he wasn't obsessed with, according to what I'm reading now, he wasn't obsessed with Dana Brooke. He was obsessed with Lita. So I don't know how Dana Brooke's name got thrown in there, but
hey,
it's still weird if you're so crazy that you have to obsess over these people.
And you're willing to risk your life. Now, who's to say? I mean, I guess more information to come out if he was actually armed or had something on him, because it's, I don't think, unless this person was like, he had like a bunch of fucking guns and bombs on him, you gotta go. But I don't condone cops killing people. Like, I don't. So I'm curious to why this person had to be restrained by death. So
he already had, from what I am gathering, they already trespassed him and said, okay, you can't come on the property.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
So he knew death. That he couldn't go on the property, and yet he still did it.
But still, I mean, again, unless he had a gun or a knife or a bomb, I don't think a cop should, be killing a motherfucker. I just don't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? If it's just him and his like wrestling obsession in his bare hands, then yeah, they could have fucking got him down and probably taken him downtown and thrown him in jail and pressed charges and go through the whole due process. But it seems it's excessive force. I mean, I really hope it was one of those things where he did have a gun to justify killing him. If not, I don't think that's cool at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, in due time.
In the coming weeks, when more
weeks. We're talking days, bro. This is the information age. We'll find this shit out tomorrow.
But there's stories about this guy there's one on heavy.com. 5 facts you need to know about this guy. And it says that, okay, I don't know how into this you want to get, but it says that the WWE say that he spread his feces and urine on their gym, or on and around their gym. The sheriff said the officer who shot Montalvo feared for his safety, which is why apparently he did it. And then it says a WWE statement referred to Montalvo as a deranged individual, which I read earlier. And then in addition to being an inspiring wrestler, he also wanted to be a rapper, and that's not really that significant.
Is this a black guy, a Latino guy?
And it says the Performance Center is never open to the public.
Is this a black dude or Latino guy? What is he?
Hold on, he's white.
He's white.
It looks like.
And, okay, was he holding a weapon?
It doesn't say, but my guess would be no.
God, this just sucks.
But if he's
mentally, like he has a mental issue?
I don't know if he had a mental issue or what.
Well, if he's deranged, if he's fucking shitting and pissing all over property, he has a little bit of, he's probably got a screw loose. He's probably one sandwich short, one floor short of a fucking building,
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I just go, well, it's one way to deal with our mentally ill, and there's another way. And sometimes it's the latter when you have to kill them. Again, yeah. I don't want this podcast to turn into this because maybe people listening have different views, and I'm not trying to sit here and debate. I just express my condolences to whoever this guy's family is. I wish that our American mental illness awareness was more intact. I wish if people known about this guy having a problem, that they would have spoke up and gotten him the necessary treatment or the necessary supervision. But
yeah.
It sucks that the world of wrestling is involved. It sucks that his obsession cost him his life.
Yeah.
And kudos. I'm not taking anything away from the police department. If they had doing their job, they're doing their job. Protect. the innocent. Protect people who can't defend themselves. Right? You're in a position of power to help with that. Now,
Sure.
But I would really hope that this guy was armed in order for him to risk his life, maybe have his life taken from him, just because he was a stalker. I ain't no telling what, but I think I've just said there's avenues to take care of stalkers. There's avenues to take care of people who could potentially threaten people's lives, especially if they have a mental illness issue. So that's all. I mean, definitely this podcast has taken a turn for the worse.
Well, I didn't mean to do that. I just figured
fine.
I'd mention it because it was current news, and usually when stuff like this happens, like breaking news, it usually gets out by the time we get off the air.
Yep. It's always before. It's always right after we.
Yep.
I'm trying to edit this shit. So let's talk about the new and improved Wyatt family, and the addition of Braun Strowman. Now, have you seen any of his? Because he was short lived in NXT, and he was.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't even in NXT.
He wasn't.
He did dark matches.
Okay, so
in NXT, and that was it.
Okay, and he has a background, strong man. I think that's why they call him Strowman. I think it's a play. I can't. All right, if his name is Strowman because he's a strong man, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, guys. So he shows up. And he was a Rosebud too.
Yeah, he broke his first experience with WWE was a Rosebud.
Okay, so this is definitely something in terms of a shocking appearance because if you look in the crowd, there was no pop, it was just crickets. Like what it was more like WTF, man. Who the fuck is this guy? The fact that NXT right now is exposing people coming up to the main roster, whether it be one of the divas, whether it be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and all that stuff, it was quite refreshing for somebody just to sort of show up and make an impact.
Because that usually doesn't happen now because you have NXT, and so you usually when people get on, or when people come through NXT, that they're eventually, for the most part, going to make it on the main roster. This guy was never seen in NXT, so we didn't even know he existed.
Yeah.
Prior to his debut as Braun Strowman.
And it's hard, man, because that's a big motherfucker. He's a big motherfucker to miss. Yeah. he's a motherfucker just hard to miss. I mean, how the fuck can you not see this guy? But who was the last person? Who was the last person to sort of debut with no previous anything behind him, even on an indie circuit? Just a homegrown guy who just showed up and made an impact. Do you even remember? Kurt Angle? Is Kurt Angle the last guy?
Probably, but he wasn't really homegrown if you think about it.
Well, in a sports entertainment sense.
I really don't know the answer to that question.
It's something, ain't it?
I'm not sure.
Maybe Sheamus?
No, because he was in FCW and he was one of Triple H's guys, and he wrestled as SOS on the independent scene. Mm-hmm. So at least we knew who he was prior to coming to WWE.
You know what? Kudos, WWE. Good job. We can't even. It's funny if anyone's listening and actually has an idea of the last surprise debut with no background whatsoever. Kofi Kingston? Just let us know. Just if who you think, because maybe Kofi Kingston, maybe Kurt Angle. I mean, I'm just saying, man. It's far and few of just guys showing up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a big motherfucker.
Yeah, he's 6'8", 6'9", somewhere around there.
And he made Roman Reigns, who's a big dude, look like a pipsqueak. And he manhandled him, not on him and Ambrose. He manhandled those motherfuckers not only on Raw, but he also manhandled them again on SmackDown. What is to become of this guy? Like, is he going to face Brock Lesnar at some point? Because I think Cena can't face this guy. They can't feed him to Cena.
I think you're getting way too ahead of yourself.
Let me get ahead of myself. I want to get ahead of myself. I do. I know. I want to get ahead of myself because I'm looking at potential. What do you see? You think he's going to be a bust or something?
We don't even know what this guy can do yet.
He can hurt you.
I heard that from what I've heard, he's very sloppy in the ring. He's huge. So, I mean, he's got the mystique because we know nothing about him. But guys who are that big genuinely aren't good athletes. So I'm not sure where this guy goes, what his abilities are. I mean, he can't be any worse than, say, Eric Rowan, who actually isn't that bad anymore.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
But I don't know. I need to see him wrestle before I really say anything about it because, like, his debut I thought was excellent. And I'm like, wow, this guy is huge, and I think it's a great look for the Wyatt family. But outside that, it's like I don't know what this guy can do in a ring. So until I see it, I can't really comment on it because I don't know.
See, I don't need that shit. I just look at this big motherfucker, and I just go, all right, Brock Lesnar? Cena? Who do we feed this sumbitch to? Because he's not there for shits and giggles. He's there to be fed to somebody, right? Especially if he's manhandling Roman Reigns. Now, unless we're going to get like a Rocky bullfit fucking montage for him to finally take down the big beast, which is Braun Strowman, then okay, I get it. But like, he's not looking too good right now to make it even somewhat believable that he could actually take him down, right?
I think you're getting ahead of yourself because this guy barely has debuted, and I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't think they're going to feed him to... I don't think they're going to put him in the ring with Randy Orton anytime soon. I don't think they're going to put him in the ring with John Cena anytime soon. I don't even think they're going to put him against the Big Show anytime soon. It's just it's going to be a slow progression to get people familiar with the guy. Because as of now, we don't know anything about him. So, which is good in a sense, but bad in a sense because without knowing something about this guy, you can't just say, okay, we're going to put this guy against John Cena.
Yeah, you can.
Because we don't know what kind of match they're going to have.
You know what? Because I'm gonna stay on this route. You try to whatever. You're not gonna kill my vibe here. I'm excited, and this is Monday. This is Monday morning quarterback right here. Overreaction Monday, right? Fuck it. I'm taking it there. I see a guy like him because here's the thing. If he's like in character, this big, strong, bad motherfucker who he's the face of desolation. That's what he's been called on SmackDown, the new face, because Bray is the new face of fear. Harper is the face of what is he? The face of annihilation? I don't even know, but he's the face of desolation. This broad motherfucker. Is he smart?
He probably can't solve a Rubik's Cube the way that Eric Rowan can, so I don't know.
All right. So it's one thing to put him in the ring against Brock Lesnar. It'd just be two brutes. I mean, I would love to see it once we see more of Braun's in-ring ability. Because
I don't think there is. I think you're getting your hopes way too up.
Let me just talk about it.
I'm just saying, I don't think that there's...
Let me just talk about it.
I don't think there's any ability there.
Let me just talk about it, bro. Right? I'm just looking at it.
Well, you have fun then.
Right? Ain't no Suplex City happening to this big motherfucker. I'm sorry. Just ain't happening. But you brought up Randy Orton. And I go, the Viper. You know, like, he's been there. He's been down that fucking route before of having to outsmart the bigger, stronger opponent. Mark Henry, Big Show. He's had to go through it. So, and if you want to actually make him legitimate again, you know, just say down the line. And you build Braun up to be this hellacious monster, and you don't want to give him to Brock Lesnar or give him to Cena, why not give him, no, why not feed him to Randy Orton? Why not? Why not? Why not?
I think that could be done eventually, but they're not going to do it right away.
I'm not saying right away. I'm just talking down the road.
Well, if you're talking down the road, then yeah, they'll do that, and they'll probably feed him to Cena, but it's like, who do they start him out with in a feud? I don't think they're going to have him in singles matches right away. I think he's going to be stuck in tag matches.
Well, his first feud is going to be against Bray Wyatt. His first solid feud is going to get Bray Wyatt.
Braun Strowman?
Yeah, totally.
No, it's not.
Yep. Because, I mean, he's
against Bray Wyatt?
Because they're going to have to break him away to be a solo guy at some point.
They're not going to do that, though.
They're totally going to do it. And this guy is going to be like, fuck this. I hate this. Now, whether he becomes a babyface or, I mean, that big motherfucker could be a great babyface. If he just breaks off and it's just like, man, fuck this Wyatt family shit. This ain't cool. Fuck you, Bray Wyatt. You know, I'll see you in the ring kind of shit. That's going to be the first feud. That's going to be the first solid feud he's going to be in. Now, whether he goes over or not, I think the idea is just having him break away. It would suck for Bray. I mean, if he had to basically do the job, well, I mean, he would do the job to a big motherfucker. I mean, and it's not like his record is all that great, you know, whatever. He does.
I think you're counting your chickens way too far in advance.
No, I mean, I'm just talking about it, Nate. I'm just talking about it. I'm not making any, what's the word? I'm not making any claims or gospel. I'm just talking about the possibilities. It's fun.
All right.
So let's move on to Sting.
Okay.
I'll let you kick off how you feel about his return, and now he has he's actually been given the title shot at Night of Champions.
Okay, so I don't really like this at all, and I'll tell you why. Sting has had one WWE championship or one WWE match in a WWE ring, and it was at WrestleMania. And he lost. And now we're 5 months after WrestleMania 31, and he's getting a title shot at Night of Champions. My question is, why?
Well, right now, his actual title contendership is a matter of pride. Seth Rollins actually, you know, on SmackDown, he talked about it, and it was a matter of pride. He's like, well, you come out here and you interrupt my moment of immortality. You know what? Fuck you. Fuck your face paint. Fuck your bat. Fuck your old bones. He kept calling him old, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a title shot. That's basically how it went down. It wasn't even like Sting asked for it, even though, like, at the end of Raw, he held up the championship belt, which I thought was really surreal. As surreal as him walking down a WrestleMania ramp. The coexistence of a WWE Heavyweight Championship and Sting, you know, it really floored me. And now it's like, well, what direction do you go with this title shot? Now, question to you.
Okay.
We all knew there was going to be some sort of, like, shenanigans with the whole unveiling of the statue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who did you think was going to be under that tarp?
I didn't really think anybody was going to be under the tarp.
I started sleuthing.
What I thought was that it was actually going to be a statue, but that it was going to have, like, face paint or something. Like, it was basically going to be defaced, and it was going to hint at somebody, maybe Seth Rollins' next feud.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But I didn't necessarily see a person being under that black curtain.
See, I knew somebody was going to be in it, under it. Like, I was like, well, maybe the whole Cena being escorted out was a bit of a ruse. The return of Kane, maybe. I guess it was going to be one of those two to sort of like interfere. Now, as that fucking that shit came up, and I saw the black shoes and the black pants, it took me a second. Even when it was exposed, it took me a second to really gather it all in, you know. And and the crowd was the same way. I mean, we're talking about a really good Raw last week that caught all the twists and turns was so great, you know. And this was like the icing on the cake, right? That shit showed up. It was at least a good half second of response.
Yeah.
As some bitch was revealed. And it was almost like, I almost like to think it was a collective. The people in the stands, me watching on my computer, just like, oh shit. Oh shit. You know, like I fucking marked out like hell. And Sting looked fantastic. I mean, apparently he's just been like busting his ass to get back into shape.
Yeah.
You could see it, man. You really could see it because he really wasn't that great. He wasn't in this good a shape when he wrestled Triple H at WrestleMania. But
yeah,
man, oh man, talk about day and night. It's like two different people. He looked real good, man.
Yeah. I think the best shape he ever got in was when he, like, before his match with Hulk Hogan at Starrcade 1997. I think that was probably the best shape that he's been in his entire career.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's 56, 57 years old, he looked really, really good.
And you look at like a guy like The Undertaker, because they're relatively the same age, right?
No. Undertaker just turned 50.
So
Sting is 6 or 7 years older than The Undertaker.
Ain't it crazy? Because he hasn't put his body through at least a third. I wouldn't even say half. I wouldn't even say like a quarter of the punishment that The Undertaker has put his body through in his career. You look at a guy like Sting, and he's been fairly protecting his body, you know?
Yeah.
But man, you look at that comparison and you go like, wow, you know, wrestling's a rough sport, man. And you can either take care of your body and have an early career, you know, tap out early in your career, or you can last really long. And Sting is an example of that. You know, what has he even? Do you ever remember a hardcore match he's ever been in?
Yeah, I do. You mean you're talking like a hardcore match?
Something that would put some tread on his body.
Beach Blast 1992. He wrestled Cactus Jack.
Oh, well, okay.
In a hardcore match.
And
they went all over the building and they killed each other.
And that was somewhat 22 years ago.
Yeah, but like he's done like, and then there was one like late WCW, and this is like maybe the year 2000. He wrestled Vampiro in a cage, and it was a 3-tier cage, and he took a 30-foot drop.
Whoa. And
landed it was the top of the cage, or it was a 3-tier cage, so he was on the very top cage, got thrown off the cage, and then landed on the entrance ramp. The entrance ramp did not break.
Back bump?
Yes.
Wow.
And this was a couple weeks after what happened to Owen Hart. So, no, not a couple weeks after, but it happened in the same arena. And then WCW kind of got scrutinized for it.
That fucking arena is cursed. What was that? What was that again?
It was a 3-tier cage match between Vampiro and Sting. It was a blow-off to one of their feuds. I think it happened on a Nitro.
What stadium? Like, where were they?
Kemper Arena, Kansas City, Missouri.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah, apparently it was, and I don't know if it was the management of WCW at the time, if they just didn't think it through, but yeah, they did something like that in the Kemper Arena, which if you're smart and you do things through and you have logic, then the last thing to do in that arena is something like that. And I think Bret Hart was still he was in the company at that time, and I think it kind of made him mad. So I would imagine it would, but it's like they should have known better. I understand what they were going for, and had it happened in like a different arena, had the exact same thing happened in a different arena, nobody would have thought twice about it. But because of where it happened, then people were all up in arms over it. But that's the only thing, like, that's probably the biggest bump I remember Sting ever taking in his career. Was that bump off that 3-tiered cage.
So you don't agree with him getting a title shot?
No, because I don't, like, in wrestling, I understand WWE does this all the time, but it's always bothered me. In wrestling, I miss the days where you used to have to beat someone in order to get a title shot. Like in Ring of Honor, they still do it, where you have to beat someone in order to get a title shot. Like they do a thing called the Proving Ground. And it's a 15-minute match it's a challenger versus a champion. If the challenger pins or submits the champion within 15 minutes, they get a title shot. And for the title, and WWE just hands title shots out like they're candy without anybody having to earn them. The only time you have to earn a title shot is if you A, win Money in the Bank, or B, win the Royal Rumble, and it drives me insane. Because there's no logic to it.
But doesn't it factor in, I mean, and maybe he's a bit of an outlier because he's fucking Sting, you know? I mean, what more does he have to prove, right? Like, he's Sting. I mean, he's not like just some jabroni who's under that tarp.
But to WWE, you use that word, and to WWE fans, he is a jabroni because he's never done anything in WWE. He lost to Triple H.
But he didn't lose fair.
It doesn't matter. He still lost. The record books, it shows a loss.
Okay.
So he lost to Triple H at WrestleMania.
He lost to Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
No, he lost to Triple H.
Okay, so that super kick didn't happen.
It did, but Shawn Michaels wasn't in the match. The record books show that he lost to Triple H. And because he lost, he doesn't deserve a world title shot. And I'm not going to get off this point because, and I'm never going to change my mind about it. I have a theory of why they're doing it, but I don't know if you want to hear that.
Well, can you give that theory in like 2 minutes?
Yep. Oh, can I explain it in 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant can I give it in 2 minutes?
Yeah. Can you you know what? Never mind. I changed my mind. I don't want to hear it. No, I'm kidding.
No, I have a feeling that either Seth Rollins will retain, and if he does, he's going to need to pin Sting and pin him cleanly to give him an actual legitimate victory for once. Or I see Sting winning the title, and then I see a Sheamus cash-in directly after that, and then Sting would lose, and Sheamus would be the the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and then it gives Sting his WWE title reign for like 30 whole seconds.
Well, I see Sting as a stepping stone, and he's going to lose. He's not going to lose clean. I mean, it's going to be another, screwy finish where Triple H or somebody's going to step in, and maybe even Kane, step in and like interfere. We're thinking bygones aren't bygones with Kane and Kane and Seth Rollins, but in fact there kind of are. Or he's ordered to basically help out Seth Rollins, and he gives him the win. Hey, I don't see Seth Rollins dropping that belt for quite some time. I almost think that the Nikki Bella reign and the and the Seth Rollins reign is going to trump both CM Punk.
Okay. There's a guy by the name of Greg DeMarco who said the same thing about, like, he wrote an article for 411 Wrestling, and he said that people are worried about this whole AJ Lee title reign getting surpassed.
And everyone's overlooking Seth Rollins.
But he also went on to say that, and I brought this up last night on Eyes on the Ring, he gave a specific date as to when Seth Rollins' 435th day as WWE World Heavyweight Champion is going to be. Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't be that far-fetched to think that WWE would want to do this because of how stubborn of a company they are.
Mm-hmm. Childish.
So, yeah, so it is a possibility, but it would happen, like, I think it was, the date was like August of 2016.
So it'd be like...
So if that's the case, then Seth Rollins still has to hold the title for almost a year.
Yeah, so it'd be Night of Champions of next year.
No, because Night of Champions is in September.
So it would be SummerSlam?
Most likely. I'll see if I can try to find the article.
Well, let me ask you this. What's wrong with him holding that belt for a while?
There's nothing wrong with it. Like, personally, I remember when he got the title, I was like, okay. Because, you know me, I hate CM Punk. So I would really like to see Seth Rollins topple CM Punk's title reign. Mm-hmm. But with the way that the title reign is going, they're either going to have to change it drastically, or B, they're going to have to take Seth Rollins, and with CM Punk's title reign, he started it as a face, and he ended it as a heel, because he turned heel at Raw 1000 when he faced John Cena after John Cena cashed in Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins, I could see he started the title or his reign as a heel. I think he's going to be a face by the time it's over. Mm. Because what else? Like, you can't keep doing this whole heel champion thing with Seth Rollins, because right now it's not working.
Well, if he keeps having these screwy finishes, for him to retain the belt, I mean, when's the last time he actually defended the belt and it was like, you know, all gravy? I mean, because I don't even count that ladder match because it ended screwy. They both fell.
Well, every single title match, every single title defense that Seth Rollins has had a screwy finish.
All of them.
Yes, all of them. And I remember I tweeted out when I was watching SummerSlam, I was like, okay, if they're going to insist on, first of all, ripping off Ring of Honor and doing this whole title unification thing, then whoever wins, if Seth Rollins wins, the guy for him to beat is John Cena, and he needs to do it cleanly.
Uh-huh.
And if he would have done that, it would have solidified his reign as champion, but guess what? That didn't happen. We all watched SummerSlam. We know what happened. And that was a schmaz finish. And I had a feeling it would be, because they like to protect their boy, John Cena. And I like John Cena. Nothing against John Cena at all. But I just think it was a bad decision, and Seth Rollins needs to start getting clean wins. Otherwise, at the end of the day, even if he does go to 435 days,
at some point, it's got to be a convincing win in there somewhere.
Yeah, he's got to start winning convincingly.
Yeah. Yep. He's going to have to, but one will only see. I mean, I guess at this capacity now, he's got substance, very much like the New Day. I think he has a way more substance. It's something about breaking John Cena's nose that made him interesting. Because before he had no substance. It was always the same shit. I mean, the guy wasn't over what he did to the Shield, and this, that, and he wasn't over cashing in at WrestleMania, and now, like, since breaking John Cena's nose, he has substance. So
I bought that shirt, by the way, because it's amazing. Even though it's gonna be like old in 2 months, I don't care.
What
the UC knee?
Okay,
that
you can't
Seth Rollins
see knee?
shirt. Yeah, I bought it when I went to Raw 2 weeks ago. But if I can interject for a second, because I found this article, and it says on Monday, June 6th, 2016, Seth Rollins will surpass CM Punk's historic WWE Championship reign. Mark that date on your calendars because it's happening, and guess the day of the week is Monday Night Raw. So this person, his name is Greg DeMarco. He writes for 411 Wrestling, and I also write for him on WrestlingSmash.com. So go there, visit that site. But he believes, and I tend to agree with him, based on what I was talking about earlier about how WWE is so selfish that they will do something like this. But I think we're in for a long haul with Seth Rollins as the world champion.
It actually... go for it.
We're at least going to see him defend the title through one more WrestleMania. Even if that is hard to wrap your brains around.
No, not at all. And it was funny because given my SmackDown review, I was just talking about the belt, and then it almost happened instantly when I just realized, like, well, shit, Seth Rollins is going to do the same fucking shit. It was just like kind of like just out of nowhere when I just said it, and it was seriously just a day ago, right?
Yeah,
and I was like, it makes sense. It totally makes sense, and why not now if they're going to do it? I mean,
yeah,
those two people are what they are. They're what's the word? They went rogue, and I think if you want to strip somebody, if you want to punish somebody, you erase them from the record books.
They're in a sense they're not going to be erased. They just move down a peg. Yeah. Like CM Punk right now is the 6th longest reigning WWE champion. So if Seth Rollins does break his reign, he'll be the 7th. So it doesn't really do anything.
Just moves him down a peg.
Gives them bragging rights of saying that Seth Rollins is the longest reigning WWE champion within the modern era.
Yep.
Like they were doing for CM Punk. And I do think, like, if Nikki Bella gets or surpasses AJ Lee's title reign, she's not going to do it by a day. She's going to do it by at least 100. I think she's going to crush that title reign. I think the same for Seth Rollins.
You've heard me talk about that, right?
Yes, I do. And I agree with you 100%.
They're going to push
because
that some
they're
bitch.
Going to just crush it.
Yeah. And
I think it's not too far out of line to say that Seth Rollins, we're looking at a 500-day title reign for him.
God almighty. And you know what? That'd be cool. Because once he finally lets go of that motherfucker, whoever breaks it, whoever wins that title off of him, is going to go over like fucking rice, man. Like
Plus the fact that I like the taste of loser tears, so I can't wait for AJ Lee fans and CM Punk fans to start crying and bitching all over my timeline.
Yeah, that's great. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I just think whoever beats him for that title is going to be over. Like,
yeah,
you got to find the right person, whether it's a heel that you can get more heel heat. Well, in this case is going to be a babyface. I still think Lynch is going to take that belt off of Nikki Bella first.
I would be fine with that.
And she's going to be a heel, and it's going to give either Sasha Banks or Charlotte Flair someone to actually, you know what I'm saying, like, you got a heel on top of the mountain that you're both trying to climb to get to. I mean, I just don't see the Divas belt being dropped by Nikki Bella to either Charlotte or Banks, who are just so over. I mean, like, just ridiculously over that, like, when they get the belt, then what? You know?
I think what's going to happen is Becky will, like, if what you're saying comes true, like if Becky does beat Nikki's title reign, I think Becky, same kind of thing. But they would, like, usually when they get out of a long title reign, and the same thing will happen if they do this thing with Seth Rollins, that whoever they lose to. So when Nikki Bella loses to whoever she's going to lose to, say it's Becky Lynch will have the belt for maybe 3-4 months tops.
Yeah.
It's going to be same with whoever beats Seth Rollins. They're going to have the belt for 3-4 months tops, and then because they always like to transition away from a long title reign and then have a shorter title reign in between and then another longer one. And that's where the key component of a transitional champion comes through. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a real possibility. I mean, she's still going to get the belt. So
you know who I see as a perfect transitional champion? Money in the Bank.
Sheamus?
Kofi Kingston.
Okay, because I was going to say, if I was going to bring this up too, if WWE really wants to do this and destroy CM Punk's record with Seth Rollins, that means that Sheamus has to lose his Money in the Bank cash-in.
Whoever said that he was going to win it?
Well, nobody did, but I'm just saying it means that he's going to have to lose.
Yeah, totally. He's going to,
and I want him to lose, so that's fine with me.
I think a lot
of people seem to want Kofi Kingston to win next year's Money in the Bank. Which, if that happens, and the New Day is still a thing, then that's going to be awesome.
That's going to be so great, even as a transition. Because his whole career, in terms of like him either holding the U.S. belt or the Intercontinental. He was given nothing. He was just a transitional guy until they put it on someone else. And why not this one? You know what? I'll take that one. You know what? I'll take that transitional champion all fucking day. Give it 2 months. Hell, give it 1 month. I don't care. Just if he somehow gets a month's reign with that belt, with the New Day and all that shit, my God. I think it'd be some of the most intriguing stuff. Even before he even cashes in, just the fact that the New Day has that briefcase, and it's the idea of them just being interchangeable, the whole Freebird rule. It opens up a whole new spectrum of like imagination and possibility. And it's like, what are you afraid of? Creative? What are you afraid of? Actually writing some good shit. Because you can't. It's no way you can fuck it up, especially with how hard these guys are working.
Well, they'll figure it out some way.
Yeah.
They'll figure some way out to screw this over.
The only other return is Ric Flair, and it looks like he may be back on a regular schedule.
I wonder why. I have another theory about that, and it's because I think Hogan would have been in Flair's spot, but now that Hogan did what he did and he's no longer a thing, that they're replacing him with Flair, because they did that like when they had to take Hogan off the tour or off of a couple tours, they replaced him with Flair. So Flair is basically becoming the Hogan of WWE right now.
What do you think they're going to do with him? Or is he just going to be just a dude that comes out? Is he going to back anybody? Is he going to?
I think he's just going to be kind of what Hogan was doing, where he's going to pop the crowd and be an ambassador for the company. I don't know if they're going to stick him into any storylines or whatever, but I do know one thing. Hogan wanted to wrestle at WrestleMania 32, and there's no way in hell that they're going to let Ric Flair wrestle at WrestleMania 32.
No, not at all. I mean, he's still technically retired. They retired his ass.
Yeah, and I mean, he wrestled in TNA, but if it happens in TNA, it didn't really happen.
I know, but no, they're going to stay. Nope. Nope. You can get out there, you can drop some elbows on your fucking jacket, and you can scream woo and maybe chop somebody, but you ain't getting no match, bro.
Well, and Vince McMahon has reportedly already said that.
Yeah.
But like when Rick started wrestling again for TNA, I remember there was an interview that surfaced with Shawn Michaels, and he said he doesn't care because the whole thing was, he's disrespecting Shawn Michaels for wrestling again. Mm-hmm. But Shawn straight up said, he's like, well, he's got to make a living somehow. So
exactly.
Whatever way he's doing it, it's fine.
Yep.
With him.
You couldn't have said it any better. And
yeah,
plus,
but Vince just won't let him wrestle in WWE.
Yeah, and if he's getting taken care of, then why should he? He's making his money just by being an ambassador. What else? Something else I was going to say about Ric Flair, but maybe it's not important. One last thing I wanted to bring up, and then we'll call it a podcast. The Divas Revolution and the Backlash. What's happening right now? We saw what happened in Minnesota. You were there when y'all start screaming for Brock.
Yeah, I wasn't a part of that, and
nevertheless, I'm saying you witnessed it.
Mick Foley wrote an article about it, and I agree with him that the Minneapolis fans should be ashamed of themselves.
I don't think so.
I do.
I think this is something that you've heard me talk about. There's going to be a backlash. Everybody who's, I guess a bit of a smarty pants. I'm over the whole, hey, we can wrestle and we're going to get into these little factions and we're going to be awesome and we're going to get more time and we're going to get more segments. Like, there's something needs to happen in terms of storyline with these girls. And it's a damn shame that the Nikki Bella holding the belt and this, what we just talked about earlier, the fact that they're going to extend this thing. And this is our theory, it's all theories, we're just having a conversation for those who are listening. But if this theory holds true, if this holds any kind of weight whatsoever, it's a damn shame that because of the WWE's stubbornness and the idea of knocking out AJ Lee's title reign, this Diva Revolution is going to be the casualty to this. And I'm not saying that the Minnesota crowd was right for what they're doing, and I'm not saying it was the end-all be-all to the Divas backlash that's happening. That's going to happen. But it happened in Brooklyn.
I just wanted to get this in there. The Divas Revolution is not going to mean anything until Nikki Bella loses that title.
But everyone's going to be a casualty of that shit because
I have
of the
an
backlash.
idea of how it could happen, but WWE will never do it.
Well, they're listening. Go ahead and tell them.
I think... No, they're not listening.
They're totally listening.
What I would like to hear, or what I would like to see happen, is whoever wins that title, and I might have mentioned this before, but there was an incident that happened on August 27th of 1994, or 1995, excuse me, where ECW or Eastern Championship Wrestling was trying to break away from the National Wrestling Alliance, and the way they did that was there was a tournament for the vacant NWA World title, and Shane Douglas won it, and he grabbed the belt and he started thanking all his predecessors and the people that came before them, and then he said they could all kiss his ass, and he threw the belt down, and then he grabbed the ECW heavyweight title and claimed it the Extreme Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship, and that's where ECW took off. But I think if you want to have this Divas Revolution mean anything, you have whoever beats Nikki grab a microphone and cut a similar promo and trash that stupid title and then reveal a women's championship and then go from there.
You wish.
That's what I said. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But it would be amazing if it did.
Yeah, it could be. I just think, well, no, not trashing your theory, because I think your theory really holds a lot of weight. It should be the way that they go. But the last thing you need is, let's just say, my little theory that Becky Lynch, as a dastardly heel to sort of undercut all the NXT girls that came up with her to get the belt, and then she cuts a babyface promo. It would be defeating, cut a babyface promo, do a babyface move to reveal a new belt. The Diva trademark is a marketing tool for the WWE, and it's going to be, it is impossible for them to sort of detach themselves from that to make a women's division. Total Divas, Diva this, Diva that, that's their trademark. That's their marketing campaign. So it'd be like them, just tossing away like a shit ton of money to go with a women's, I quote, making quotients with my fucking fingers, division. I just see that being like a pipe dream. And as much as I would love to see that happen, I mean, I think all of us would agree. But, man, I wish they weren't so knee-deep in the word diva. They're so knee-deep. It's not even funny how far deep they are into the marketing of that one fucking word to describe their women's division with this host of girls who are in, you could call it a revolution, but they are revolutionizing, and they're going to make it really hard for anyone who comes.
No, they're not.
After them, I'm just saying they're putting the bar is really high. I mean, if you were a divas wrestler, you didn't really have to do much. You just look pretty, do some moves, and cash a check. And now it's now you got to work.
If the Divas Revolution is solely taking place in NXT, then I buy it. But, I think we talked about this last week, and I think I remember saying that the women's match on NXT TakeOver, the one where Bayley won the women's title, or the NXT Women's Championship, because that title's still a women's championship for whatever reason. But that match was really good, whereas the match the next night with the Divas on SummerSlam was garbage. So it's like there's a huge disconnect between the women and the Divas, or the women in NXT versus the Divas in the main roster. So they're going to need to figure something out in order to make this work, and right now it's not working. And they're going to need to figure out how to...
But the ladies aren't to blame. And you look at what Minnesota did, and you look at what Brooklyn did. This was not a diss to the girls in the ring.
No, it's a diss to creative.
It's a total diss to creative. And anyone who looks past that, I feel like you're missing the point. Because we love Charlotte. We love Becky. They really love Sasha. That's who they were cheering for. We want Sasha. And then they started doing the wave, and then they started doing the JBL. Like, basically the treatment they do to fucking Sheamus versus Randy Orton kind of shit.
But then they wanted Sasha in that match, but then we found out that she got hurt in her match, or in the match on at SummerSlam.
Well...
Which is why she wasn't really involved in the match on Raw.
Well, I just said, you're going to put these girls in these high profile, matches that's going to take a lot out of them. They're still women. You can't. The capacity of wrestling that they're being forced on right now, especially Sasha Banks doing 2 gigs in one night. Kevin Owens did 2 gigs in one night, and I can see that happening. He's a big burly dude. He can put on his big boy pants, but I don't expect that kind of work out of the women. I don't want them to have that much work. When you think about it, because you look at people shortening their careers because of their overworking their bodies. I mean, let's look at women and their bodies, and if they're putting themselves to the same toll that men do, it's just not going to be the same result. It's not, and their careers are going to be ending much faster than not.
Well, I think you're onto something there, because I think Sasha is going to have that happen to her, because she's, I don't want to say reckless, because reckless means you're endangering other people, but she kind of is reckless to her own body, where she doesn't care, and she'll just throw herself at you for no reason.
Because she's a mark.
There's a reason for it, but
she's a mark for herself. She's a mark. She's a wrestling fan. She's a wrestling fan. She's a female version of fucking, in terms of the attitude, that kind of attitude of a Daniel Bryan, of a fucking a Bret Hart. Just whatever. I don't care. I'm out here to fucking put my body, or Mick Foley. I'm out here to put my body on the line and entertain the crowd, because in the end, it's all about the crowd. If this crowd leaves unhappy, it's not because of any effort that I put in, kind of thing, and say even I think. We forget about Alicia Fox having a concussion. What the fuck? They should not have to deal with that kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not on some, like, you know, protect the women kind of thing. I'm not on some dumb feminist type shit. I'm just saying in general, if you're going to start trying to, you know, like on the Miz TV, start like making these proclaims like you're just as good as men and we can do what the men do and all that shit, you're putting yourself in a situation that is not going to be in your best interest moving forward. It's just not. It's just not. And it's going to affect all the people coming up after you, you know?
Yeah.
Or even before you. I mean, really? Alicia Fox suffering a concussion? It's one thing to drop a knee on someone's eye socket by mistake, right? It's another thing to
That wasn't by mistake.
Or, well, maybe it wasn't, but you know what I'm saying?
He knew what she was doing.
That was a freak accident. We don't want to see these women take that much of a toll on their bodies. I don't, personally. I don't. You can give me a 5 to 6 minute match. You can give me that, you know, and I'll be just fine with that. It's better than a 2-minute match, but it's not as overworked as a fucking 15-minute match. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So let's go ahead. Is there any last thing you want to talk about? Let's go ahead and wrap this fucker up.
I just want to make mention that Zahara Schreiber just got fired not too long ago.
Who's that?
From WWE.
Oh, that was the Seth Rollins thing?
Yes. She got fired for posting. She's got a tattoo of a swastika on herself somewhere, and she posted it on Instagram and along with a bunch of other shit, and apparently they fired her for that. So that's again to do with like the same kind of thing they distanced themselves from Hogan for, like, and at one point or at some point I see them bringing Hogan back, but this Zahara Schreiber chick, I don't think they're ever going to bring her back, and she was the one that leaked out the Seth Rollins
Wienergate.
Yes, and made me see that, and I still am trying to recover, and there's not enough acid in the world to wash my eyes out, but
I can't unsee it because I never saw it. I have no interest in
well,
looking
then
at
you're
some
lucky,
dudes.
because I'm still wishing I hadn't seen it, and it happened in January. So,
Nah, not cool. Well, there's always porn for her. I mean, she got the look. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't see Hogan coming back. He's doing a Good Morning America fucking interview.
that's because he's trying to get back into WWE's good grace.
No, that is not the way you do it.
I know it's not, but that's what he thinks, because, or it's either he's trying to get back into WWE's good graces, or his ego is so inflated that he just needs to be on TV.
How about the latter, brother? How about the latter?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking idiot, man. Just shut the fuck up and go away, right? It's
But
simple.
he's not going to.
He's an idiot. As long as he keeps pressing, he's basically China right now. Like you try to press it, you keep trying to press it, and all you're doing is setting yourself back further. Like, you know, like just fall back, man. Just do that for a hot fucking second, you dumbass. God, it's funny. It's funny that, you know, that like I'm all worked up and emotional, you know, for him, you know, over him trying to get back into the WWE. I'm like, right now, I'm like, fuck him. We've been here, all right? I've already talked about this. Fuck him. But if he is to get a second chance, very much like any and everyone else deserves, he needs to follow protocol. Shut the fuck up. Don't find Barbara Walters. Don't find anybody. Just put down your phone, close your laptop, and just move to fucking Spain for a while and just enjoy life. You fucking idiot. God, I saw that shit on TV, man. I almost punched the screen.
Yeah, but you're talking about Hogan, and he's not someone. He's got to constantly have a camera on him.
Crocodile tears in the fucking preview, by the way. You see him like tear up. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Well, and the only reason why he's tearing up is because he's not tearing up because of what he did. He's not like remorseful. He's probably one of those people that he's like, oh, I can't go on TV anymore.
He's like, he's if anything, he's pissed because he got caught. You motherfucker. He got caught. No one's ever sorry about what they did. Everyone's sorry they got caught. If he would have never got caught, we'd be singing this tune. Fucking idiot, man. Just follow protocol, man. It doesn't matter what your name is. Just know your role and shut your mouth. And as long as you keep pressing Hulk Hogan, because I know you're listening, as long as you keep pressing the fucking issue, you're going to take more and more steps back and not be in the good graces of the WWE, you fucking moron. All right. And with that said, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to the Neu Daye Podcast. This is episode 9?
I don't know. I've lost count. We've done so many.
Oh, boy.
I think we're ahead of 9, but I don't know. I'd have to go into Stitcher and look at it.
Yeah, I would have to as well. But anyway, whatever episode, I'm hopping on SoundCloud right now just to look. But you're listening to an episode, more than one, of the Neu Daye Podcast. Where are we at? All right.
We're on to episode 8.
Episode 8. Okay, I was one off. So episode 8 of the Neu Daye Podcast with your boys, your homies, your jabronis, your marks, your friends. Peter, well, it would be Nathan because new and Peter as in day. So with Nathan and Peter. Thank you for listening. Get your plugs in, bro.
You can follow me on Twitter at Headliner5. I don't really do follow backs, but if I feel like following you back, I will.
What a jerk.
No, I just don't do it because sometimes my timeline gets cluttered and my brain can only handle so much information at a time.
Yo, Skip Bayless and shit over there and shit.
So, but follow me on Twitter at Headliner5. Maybe if you're cool enough, I'll follow you back.
He doesn't even follow me, guys. So
yeah,
don't take it personal.
Check out EyesInTheRing.com. There is a takeover review from last week, and there is a new Ring of Honor review from the show that aired on Sinclair broadcast groups this past Saturday. There's also a bunch of new content from John from.
Oh shit! You just broke up.
From a couple other new writers that we have. So check out EyesInTheRing.com. Go to Facebook.com/EyesOnTheRing. Make sure to like us. And also follow... Like I said, you can follow me on Twitter at Headliner5. You can also follow the Eyes on the Ring main account at Eyes on the Ring. I will be tweeting Raw from that account and my account simultaneously tonight via Twitter as Raw happens. And we're supposed to kick off Raw tonight with Sting, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, 20-second. What are you expecting out of tonight? 20-second answer.
I'm basically expecting it to be something with Sting, and then I really don't know because we're in the time where I stop caring because it's post SummerSlam.
Sting talks. He talks. He's a good enough promo. He talks about his match. I think the New Day and the Dudley Boys finally interact. I think the Divas are going to get booed again. I think
it depends where they are.
Yeah, we're going to catch another beatdown of Roman Reigns by Braun. I expect Seth Rollins to actually fuck up Sting.
Okay.
Yeah, I expect him to come out and fuck up Sting.
If Sting's even going to be there.
If Sting is there, you say you're going to start off with Sting, right?
Oh yeah, duh.
And I expect to see a lot of Triple H.
Probably.
Yep. In terms of mid-card, I don't know what the fuck, man. Neville just did the job clean to Owens, so maybe Owens show up, maybe Cesaro show up, but we'll see, man. I just hope it's a good show all around.
Yep.
PJTW Central, that's my Twitter account. If you're a first-time listener, make sure you subscribe. And if you've been listening for a while, make sure you repost, share, thumbs up, leave a comment, tweet, Facebook that shit. If you're a wrestling fan and you have good taste, and if you're listening to this, you probably do, then your wrestling friends will trust your taste if you actually shared it with them. It's like, oh, you listen to this cool shit? Awesome. New fan for us. And we really, really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the fuck out of here. You got any last words?
Nope. Just looking forward to Raw tonight, even though it's going to kind of feel like a Nitro with what's going to happen.
Those were last words, by the way. Look out for those foreign objects. Peace.
Peace.